Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jamie Walker, and today I'm going to be walking you through the pros and cons of living on Pensacola Beach. We're going to cover everything from sugar sands to jellyfish to hurricanes. So let's get into it. Let's start off with some pros. And I think the best place to start is the sand. You might say, what's so special about the sand, Jamie? Well, lots of things, actually. And it's one of the reasons why Pensacola Beach has been named one of the most beautiful beaches in the country, and I believe also in the world several times over. See, our beaches are a little bit different. In other places where you have compacted sand, yellow, brown sand, we have white sand, and it's actually called sugar sand. A lot of people, you'll hear them refer to it that way, and that's because it literally feels and looks like sugar in your hands. It's one of the coolest things. Now, it's not very good for biking or pulling a cart or sometimes even walking in, much less trying to jog, although some people do try that. It can be a really great workout for the ankles, but it's this beautiful, fine, white, soft sand. And so what you'll see when you go out to our beaches are just kind of little lumps all over the sand. It's not smooth, it's not hard, it's really, really beautiful. And what that stems from actually is quartz from the Appalachian Mountains. It's pretty cool the way that the water has traveled from the mountains and all the sediment down the Mississippi Basin, and when it flows out of the basin, it kind of swooshes over to the Pensacola Beach area, and it's just these fine little granules of quartz. So not only is it beautiful, but it's really cool and has an awesome story. Now, the next part that I personally really love, and I think, a lot of times tourists tend to love this as well, but when you're living here, I think it's a big deal. And that's that Pensacola Beach really has that small town feel. While it is very touristy in the high seasons, everything's really within walking distance in the main areas, and it has this small town feel that you almost just don't get anywhere else for the level of amenities and things to do and the closeness of everything. Another beautiful aspect to our beach that, I can't make this video without mentioning is the color of our water. Now, along the Gulf here, sometimes it's called the Emerald Coast because the water is just this beautiful, it ranges from this beautiful cobalt blue in places to this beautiful turquoise color to sometimes a very teal color. But it always has this kind of green undertone, and it is just spectacular. Another thing I really love about our beaches is the fact that the water is generally pretty clean. And by clean, I mean it doesn't have a lot of algae or moss or seaweed. It's generally just sand, seashells, and water. Now, we do have some seaweed and some algae that might come through in the summer months. It does happen sometimes. And what's really neat about that also is it tends to kind of clump up. So you can just avoid certain areas and go to where it's not. And for all you outdoor enthusiasts out there, we have some pretty incredible fishing opportunities as well. Whether you're fishing from the beach itself or you're going out on a boat, the Pensacola Beach area's fishing is second to none. Another really cool aspect of Pensacola Beach is the fact that you actually get two options when traveling to the beach for your outdoor activities. And what do I mean by that? Well, we have a bay, Pensacola Bay. And so on one side of Pensacola Beach, you have what we call the sound side. And on the other side, you have the Gulf. So, depending on what you're doing that day and whether or not you have children with you will depend maybe on your choice. But the sound side is always a good bet for, calm waters, shallow waters. And it's also a lot closer to some of the fun that we'll talk about in a minute. But the Gulf side is always beautiful. It's always nice and breezy, lots of waves. We have lifeguards, but I just think it's kind of neat that you get two options. And we couldn't make a video about Pensacola Beach without mentioning the amazing restaurants available right on the beach itself. You do not even have to leave the area. In fact, a lot of them are within walking distance. But for all of you seafood enthusiasts, you're in for a real treat. We actually have a shrimp that is only found here along the Gulf Coast called Royal Reds. That's like a tiny lobster, and it is the best shrimp you will ever put in your mouth. In addition to that incredible shrimp that I hope that you try, we have grouper. You can find fresh mahi-mahi. We even have lionfish. Yes, that's right. They've become so overpopulated in our area that many restaurants now serve lionfish. You can also find fresh flounder, as well as some of the best oysters you will ever taste. There's really something for everyone. Whether you're looking for brunch, burgers, or high-end seafood, you can find it on Pensacola Beach. Now, the last pro I want to talk about is the kind of fun that you can get into on Pensacola Beach. And I mean the nightlife, the party people. So if that's you, listen up. There is lots that you can get into on Pensacola Beach depending on your style. There's lots of free events, like a free music event that happens every Tuesday evening in the summer months, the spring and summer months on Pensacola Beach, right on the beach. I mean, you can bring a towel, bring a chair, set up in the sand, and listen to live music all night. It's pretty fun. But along the boardwalk, which is on the sound side of Pensacola Beach, you'll find lots of little bars, and I think there's even still a few clubs there if that's your thing. And I couldn't possibly talk about the nightlife without mentioning the Sand Shaker, which is the birthplace of the bushwhacker. And what is the bushwhacker, you ask? Well, it is our famous adult milkshake that you can only find here on the Gulf Coast unless someone's copied it, but it started here. And we couldn't talk about nightlife on Pensacola Beach without mentioning the Flora-Bama. Now, while Flora-Bama is not located on Pensacola Beach, it is a short drive away on the Florida-Alabama line, and it is definitely something that you need to see. It is world famous and has been open since 1964 and is the location of the annual mullet toss at the end of April every year. One last honorable mention for the pros of living on Pensacola Beach are the fact that we have designated beaches that you can take your little furry friends with you. So you may notice that there are no pet signs all over the main beach areas, and there's reasons for that I don't think I need to get into in this video, but there are some designated spots that are actually usually a lot less busy than the main beaches that you and your furry friend can enjoy a day in the surf and sand. Now we're going to move into a few cons, some reasons why you may want to think twice about moving or visiting to Pensacola Beach. Now, the first con I want to mention has got to be the traffic. And I know, people complain about traffic all the time. Is it really that big of a deal? At the end of the day, it's really not. But there's only one way in and one way out of Pensacola Beach, and so it can get a little hectic at times, especially if there's an event going on or it's the peak of summer. So I just say always plan accordingly. Another con that I feel like we have to mention here is the tolls. There is a toll booth to get on to Pensacola Beach. It's only $1, so it's not going to break the bank, and it's actually a lot easier now than it used to be. In the old days, as we say, you used to have to physically stop at the toll booth, pay the toll attendant your $1, and carry on about your day, which created a huge line of traffic that sometimes can be miles long to get onto the beach. And so they've solved that now by doing what we call toll by plate, where they just snap a picture of your license plate and bill you in the mail. Or you can purchase a Sun Pass, which not only works here, but all over the country. Now, this next one is probably not something people really think about unless they know someone that lives here or they've been here often. Most people tend to think of sharks when they think ocean, beach, vacation, but sharks aren't really such a big deal, although we did just have a 13-foot shark wash up on Navarre Beach this past week. It's really not that common. What you do need to think about, on the other hand, are jellyfish. Jellyfish are these little jelly blobs that swim under the water and catch you off guard when you're trying to enjoy your day. And they give you a little sting. It doesn't last very long, but it can really catch some people off guard when they don't know that it's coming. And we always recommend taking a little bit of meat tenderizer for whatever reason. It seems to take the sting away, and within 10 or 15 minutes, it's all better and you're back to your day. We're going to end this video with one final con, and it might be something you're expecting, maybe not, but if you ever watch the news, I'm sure you're aware that we do get hurricanes. We haven't had a major one in quite some time, and they're honestly not that frequent, but they do happen, and it's just something that you have to plan for. One of the ways you can help protect your home is by filling sandbags and kind of lining low-lying areas to prevent water from coming in. But most of the homes on Pensacola Beach are built up off the ground for this reason, so you just want to make sure that there's nothing of value on ground level. Now, there are some storms that are safe to stay for. You can just hunker down, make sure you cover your windows with hurricane shutters, tie down anything that could fly away. But there are some storms that have come, and I'm sure more will come in the future, where they recommend that everyone leaves. And when they recommend that you leave, please leave. Like I said earlier, there's only one way in and one way out. It's all bridges. And so if something happens to those bridges during these storms, you are stuck. And it could be, hours, days before anyone can get to you for help or food or water. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of this video. If you found it helpful, we'd love for you to give it a like. And if you like content like this, we produce a lot more informational videos about the Gulf Coast, so hit that subscribe button. You can also leave us a comment down below. If you'd like to learn more about moving to the Pensacola area, you can click the link in our description box below. You can call us, you can text us, you can send us an email, or you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call. We would love to chat with you. And that's it for today. See you next time.